Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to the I've Been Falsely Accused radio show, part 24. I'm your host, Cogee, and my main man, Mr. Jeffrey Deskovic. What's up, Jeffrey?
Hey, Cogee.
How you doing, man? You sound like you ready to go today, my brother.
I'm ready, Cogee. I'm ready.
I hear you, man. You know we got to represent for Mr. William Lopez. He told me and you to keep it rolling, so that's what we got to do.
Absolutely, that's what he would have wanted.
Oh yeah. Now we got a guest in the house with us today. She's gonna be rolling with us, Miss Malika. How you doing today?
I'm good, Cogee. How are you this afternoon?
I'm doing fine, thank you. And I want to thank you for being a part of our show today and coming down here, and being a part of something great where, we giving of ourselves and we making sure that we put others first before us.
Yeah.
And that's what it's about. So what made you, we ain't going to start the interview yet. I just want a little insight. I want somebody to hear your heart, how you won me over yesterday when we met and we talked and your heart was just out there for the community. What made you want to come today? I mean, you could have put it off to last week. Next week, you could have put it off to whenever, but you said, hey, you know what? I'm free. I want to come and be a part of what you're doing. What did I say that touched your heart or your soul and made us equal up where you said, hey, you know what? I want to be a part of this?
Well, Cogee, first of all, thank you for the opportunity. I think it was the same as me, your spirit and your heart and just your genuineness, after we talked and we joked one another.
Right.
And then we came to talk and, you saw my heart. And I just said there is a need to come out and just speak about my heart, what people need to hear and what God wants us to do.
I hear you, definitely. And you also do prison ministries. We'll get into that in a little bit. Mm-hmm. So you can talk about that just for a minute.
Yeah, so I do prison ministry at a North Las Vegas facility, and we go in on Mondays, and we speak to the men and women who are in the prison. They need to hear our word. They need to hear the heart. They still need to know that there's somebody out there praying for them.
That's right.
And increasing and coming and telling them the word because they're locked up. They need hope. They need prayer. They need to see some joy that there is somebody still fighting for them and knowing.
Okay, there it is. Now, my girl Fox is in the house. What's up, Foxy? New York City.
All right.
I hear you.
Doing?
Have you seen this show grow, and in what ways?
Yes, I have, and for me, it's such a joy to come here. I just can't wait to come work beside you, to learn what's going on in the world because like I said, I turned a blind eye on these issues, but now you brought the light to me, and I'm just want to be a part of the community. And
I appreciate you. Now I want you to talk about New York City, Mr. Jeffrey Deskovic. Jeffrey's putting it down. He's calling all the way from New York every show. And don't miss a show unless he's got a big meeting or he's going to speak about this situation. What would you like to say about Jeffrey and his fight and, what he's doing also to team up with me?
Hi, Jeffrey.
Hi.
How you doing?
I'm good, thank you.
I just want to say I really appreciate you and your hard work, and just keep up the good work and know that we are behind you.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
I mean that. Now, Malika, let me come back to you real quick. What would you want to say to all the fighters around the world who's doing what we're doing? Each individual person that's doing something to put themselves last and put somebody else first in need.
Just keep pressing. Don't let anybody think you're not going to get any reward. Just know that the people that you're reaching and the souls you're reaching need you. That's put yourself last. Somebody will come to you and bless you, just like you blessed me yesterday, Cogee, because I was just there.
Right.
And you just came to me. So no matter what, keep doing what you're doing.
Okay, there it is. Thank you. Miss Peaches, how you doing?
I'm doing great, Cogee. Thank you. How are you all today?
We doing all right.
Hey.
Now, what I wanted to do before we start this, show today, I wanted people to feel our hearts. On my way here, this morning I was in the shower. I was like, okay, well, God, you lead me where you want me to go. You know what I'm saying? You tell me what you want to happen today. So as I seen, Foxy and Malika pulling up, and me and Jay was talking coming to the show today, and me and Jay was really getting deep in the car talking about what all done happened to people, and how many people's lives have been shook up and set back. So I said to myself, you know what? It started out heartfelt with me and her. So I wanted to start, they say the way it starts is the way it ends. So I wanted to end the whole show and have the whole show that way where we're talking about, what we feel for people, why we feel it's important to help somebody, what we can say as the ones who's really on the inside, seeing these people hurting, who can't get out, who can't get help, who got to just go through it. They having their long season. You know what I'm saying? We really know what they're going through, so we can really speak from experience. So Ms. Peaches, ever since, you also been a part of the I've Been Falsely Accused show from day one. How have you seen the show grow, and what do you see far as the show right now?
Well, I just think that the show is so important. I think it's opened doors for people who didn't have a space to talk from their heart about their experiences and what they've been through. I think that it's been like a healing platform, where people have been able to talk about their family members and share their stories with you, and the way that you interview somebody, and also with our audience and all of us. And they get to walk away from the show either on the phone or in the studio with you with a good feeling through a really tragic experience, because they know that they're not alone. And I just think that it's really important because you really do touch people's hearts, Cogee, and you allow them to express themselves. And so much in today's society, people don't have that. Not even with their loved ones can they get off their chest what's bothering them. And I think that that's really important through your show.
That's right. Thank you. And I do appreciate that. But, I want to say thank you to my whole team. I want to say thank you to everybody that's on this phone. I want to say thank you to Jay. I want to thank you to all the listeners who listen to me around the world, everywhere. I mean, I'm nothing without y'all, and I mean it. But I do this for y'all. But the thing about it is, it's a high power that I'm doing it through. This ain't about me. This is about me delivering a message and letting people know that, hey, what's going on out here in the world right now? It's real. These people are really trying to put you away. But it's my place to say a lot of them ain't trying to put you away for nothing. To the people who's out there doing something and you aligning yourself up with trouble, they right there to meet you halfway. I'm just trying to smarten up the community and say, hey, you got to get it right. You got to change up. You don't need to be doing this. It's a lot of single moms out there that's losing the head of their households, and that's their teenage child. That's the child that's the oldest, the one that's supposed to help them out, be able to look out for the children, be able to babysit, be able to just be the man around the house. They losing they men of the house. The man of the house nowadays ain't the husband, ain't the boyfriend no more. It's the teenage man. It's the teenage boy. So I'm trying to, we trying to definitely give us knowledge through I've Been Falsely Accused and the Hands Off Our Children show. We trying to teach young men, and we trying to teach everybody to safeguard yourself. Jeffrey, how important is that?
Extremely important, Coach. Extremely important.
You want
very easy to be falsely accused and ultimately wrongfully convicted. It was really hard to be proven innocent and released.
Right. Now, Jeffrey, we gonna flip the switch a little. We gonna flip the script a little bit. Talk to that child that's out there provoking the trouble. The child that's out there, aligning themselves up with the law. Can you talk to that child?
Absolutely. I know what prison's like from firsthand experience. I mean, I unfortunately spent 16 years in prison. I mean, I was there for something I didn't do, and I was released. Upon being proven innocent through DNA. But while I was there, I learned about, what prison was all about. I mean, as far as the violence that's in the prison, and, the verbal abuse from the guards, and, lack of freedom, and, the hopelessness that people feel. You don't want to be in prison. Nobody wants to be around a lot of people that have committed crimes. I mean, it's a terrible, terrible, terrible place. So if that's my experience, being there, something I didn't do. I mean, imagine, people doing something, committing crimes, putting themselves in danger of being sent to prison for something they did do.
That's right. You're definitely right about that. Now, Jeffrey, explain to everybody how long you been in jail, and a child that's, we'll say 18 or 17 years old, and they getting in trouble, and they don't understand what doing real time means. Can you explain that, please?
Yeah, I was in prison for 16 years, and and depending on what crime someone's charged with, Coach, I mean, they can charge you as an adult, like for murder and rape and other serious crimes. From 16, they can charge you as an adult, which means you'd be sent to a men's maximum security prison. You're not going to go, you're going to be given adult time, and you're going to be sent to an adult prison where, unfortunately, you're going to be very vulnerable.
That's right. You're definitely right about that. And they don't even understand that. Miss Peaches, I want you to do me a favor real quick, and then I'm coming to you, Malika, and then I'm coming around to you, Fox. Miss Peaches, talk to all the moms out there, single moms who's doing their best with their children, but they got to work 2 or 3 different jobs, and some of them feel like they losers when they when their children get in trouble. They feel like, man, I done just threw my child's life away. You know, I'm a bad person. I'm this. I'm that. Can you speak to that woman, please?
Yes, I can. Cogee, first of all, I'd like to say, because I've heard personally of a lot of stories where single moms actually have somewhat decent babies' fathers that they don't allow to see their children.
Oh, yeah, good one.
There
Okay.
are good men out there.
I'm glad you're going
that,
there.
Yeah, that are not allowed to see their children because of whatever personal things that are going on. You have to let your children have a relationship with their father.
That's
as
right.
long as they are not being put in harm's way.
You got that right.
And even for the worst fathers, if you can figure out some amicable way to let them have time around the children to give them the daddy part of them, not the bad part of them, because there are, Cogee, some instances where, yeah, they're not the greatest men in the world, but they do have that daddy mentality to give to their children. Figure out a way to let the kids have some piece of their father, because it will make such a huge difference in the long term. And if that is completely impossible, you can't beat yourself up if you know you've done the best that you can do. But there are so many people out there. Look within your family. There might be a good father figure within your family or within the father's side of the family that can give what's missing to the kids. If there's not, just keep working hard and don't beat yourself up because your children took the wrong path. There are the best parents who've given the best of life to their children, and their children have turned out to be, very big disappointments. So please don't look down on yourself if you know you have given it your all.
That's right. You're definitely right about that. Let me do this. I want to change the order real quick. Let me go to Foxy. Foxy, I want to do this real quick because you as a mom, you have older young men. You know what I'm saying? So you have grown men. So you done been there and done that and then won the T-shirt for it, going through it. But you done held strong. And one thing I can say about you, whenever you go through something with your sons, I go through something, with family, you always reach out and talk to somebody who cares. You don't talk to somebody who's going to take you in a negative direction. And every time I talk to you, you talk to me, I always tell you, you got to roll with your heart. Don't do what the public wants you to do because them are your children first. You roll with your heart. And I always give you the advice of saying, try to work it out another way other than, disconnecting with them. Y'all got an attitude or whatever. I always say, hey, try to make it right. Don't have them young men out here in the street feeling a certain way about their mama, because when they feel a certain way about their mama, they're going to project that to the young women that they dealing with. You know what I'm saying? So we trying to have great relationships with moms to try to help them be a little bit more softer and loving on their mate, you know what I'm saying? And we trying to cut down on the domestic violence and all the stuff that's going on out here. So what you think, Fox?
So I think that sometimes if you actually don't let them go, I'm going to say that. If you don't let them go, you're enabling them. Right. And they will.
I said that. You're definitely right.
They will take advantage of a single mother, and they will stay at your house till they're 50 years old.
Right.
They won't get a job.
I moved their girlfriend in and the babies and everything.
They sure will. But I was a single mom. I had to teach my boys to be responsible for their own actions.
Right.
If they was to go to jail, they was going to jail, and they was going to handle because they're there.
That's right.
I didn't put them there. I told them the best thing. I told them the best that I could. I didn't teach them to go rob, steal, and kill. And
right.
So if you wanted to do that, that was on you.
But as a single mom, Foxy, and they knew you was a single mom, what did you try to put in them, like saying, okay, we might be a divided family right now where I'm the single mom and I'm taking care of y'all, but what did you still try to put in them as men?
To be responsible for yourself.
I hear you.
That's what I installed in them because I worked,
right.
And I couldn't have a babysitter. They didn't need a babysitter.
And you've always kept a job. You ain't got to say where you work, but how many years you been on your job?
Well, it's been 32 years.
Through ups, downs, and everything.
And I used to just change times every time to raise them. I mean, one time I was on tour 1 or tour 2 or tour 3. Just change my times to be with them and to raise them. But they have to grow on their own and have their own responsibility for their own life.
Right. I hear you. Okay. Malika, we're going to come to you right now.
Okay.
What would you want to say? You know, do you have children?
I do. I have a 20-year-old.
You have a 20-year-old.
Yes.
Oh, so you can speak.
I
You
can.
don't look like it. You like you fresh out of college.
Genetics.
You know that's right. So, okay, how's it been with you being a mom? You know, like your ups and downs or anything you might have been through. You know, you have a mate, you married, so you have that full family.
Right.
But still, I know a lot of full families that still have it, sometimes more worse than the single moms.
Right.
So how do you deal with having a 20-year-old?
Well, my 20-year-old is different. First of all, I do believe in discipline, and you have to discipline your kid, and you have to let them know that we're going to have some ground rules and some boundaries, and you have to set forth for them. And if you do that for your kids, they will honestly believe that and do what they're supposed to do. So I just give them guidelines. I tell them there's consequences to his actions, and be mindful of what he does. And when he goes out in the street, he's not only representing himself, he's representing myself and his father. So do the right thing. And before you do it, think, okay, what's the consequences to it? There's consequences to everything that you do.
You got that right. You definitely got that right. But when you go into the prisons and you see these young men in there that's like 19 and 18, where they done hit 18 and they can go to prison,
Right.
I know your heart goes out to them because
for
first
sure.
thing you think is, wow, it's right at the age range of my child. So speak on that.
So it's definitely a hit on your heart when you goes in to see the men and the women. And your heart just gets heavy, and you just pray for them to when they get out, they'll change, but you want to encourage them and love on them and don't judge them and let them know, don't fall into their actions, don't fall into the same circle, and know that when you can leave out of here, you can change the lifestyle that you had.
That's
But
right.
you have to want to change from within. But they also need to know that we're still loving on them, we're going to still pray for them, and we're still here for them.
That's right. You're definitely right about that. Jeffrey, chime in. What's on your heart?
I kind of agree with. I agree that the last comment. I'll echo that. I'll just reinforce it. I don't think. I don't think because somebody getting a child winds up in trouble, then that means that parent or guardian didn't do a good job. It just means that the child didn't listen.
That's right. You're definitely right about that. Jeffrey, let me go back to you real quick. When you was in prison, you seen a lot of young men, after you had been in there for a while, a couple of years, and you seen these young men come in. Did you ever try to mentor to them? Or when they first got in there, was they hard to talk to? They thought they knew it all. And then as years went on, they was in there for a little while. How long did you see it take them to mellow out, to start listening to the older people in jail, to teach them how to be in there, how not to get in trouble, and how to get out as quick as possible?
Yeah, I found it that most people needed 2 or 3 years before they mellowed out and were ready to listen. In terms of me, yeah, I did. I did mentor some people. I explained to them, what the jailhouse rules of survival were. You got to understand your environment and how you can avoid getting into problems. So I did some of that, and that made me feel good though, Cogee, because someone sat down with me and gave me the ropes for myself, So
Right.
it had a feeling of coming full circle for me as well.
Oh, yeah, that's right. And that's why I said, man, I wanted to make this show today about, coming from the heart. Saying things, because some people just now, found out about the show, like Malika. She didn't know about the show. Now she know it's a show that exists, that looks out for her child, you know what I'm saying, and look out for all the men that she loves in her family, you know what I'm saying, because but it don't only happen to men. With this show, I've been falsely accused, the women get it too. So we go through a lot, you know what I'm saying? But Miss Peaches, I'm going to come to you right now, and I want you to talk to the young women out here right now who's just pushing it to the limit, feeling like they can hook up with certain dudes. If they got something bad going on, they got to prove they down, they got to do this and do that. Talk to them.
Well, if you're trying to prove you're down to someone else, you're going to lose every time, because there's always going to be a situation. Everybody has limits, but for a young woman who's going to push themselves to the limit in every situation, you will hit a brick wall eventually. If you're out being promiscuous with guys, they're, sexually transmitted disease is real. People do die or live a lifetime. There are plenty of them that cannot even be treated that well. They keep coming back. So those are things to think about. And if you're trying to be hard, women get beat up and shot and killed too. Not just young men. Young girls do too. So you really need to think about your life. If you have thought about your future at all, you do have a future. You don't just live day to day. There is a future for you. So start thinking about what it is that you want to do. Do you want to have kids? How will you have kids if you end up in prison? Oh, yes, that's right. If you go in pregnant, you'll have the child in prison, and as soon as the baby comes, they will take your baby away. So you need to think about these things when you're out, doing the most.
And who wants to have a life where your child says, I was born in prison? So that means you already was born into a bad opportunity. You was born into a whole bad structure right off the bat. And sometimes people, they minds work different, where a child feels like, you know what, I don't care about going to prison. I was born in prison. Well, that ain't nothing, that ain't nothing to be proud of, because I'm sure if your mom could have had it any other way, you wouldn't have been born in prison. You know what I'm saying? And for you to even think, I'll go back to where I came from. Come on, that shows that you have no guidance. You have no mentor. You have nobody to tell you that that's some of the craziest stuff that could ever come out of your mouth, to be in a cage. Even a dog don't want to be in a cage. When you go to a circus or a zoo, they don't want to be they don't even want to be in a cage. Why do you think anytime that door is open or they come in to feed those animals, they look back to make sure the door is closed? Because one thing they know, if that door is open, anything that's in that cage is going to hit that door and it's going to get out of Dodge. It's gone. So, that's why I want these young people to wisen up. Don't take jail as a game. Don't take it as a game. We have exonerees that come through this show. I got my main man, Jeffrey, my right-hand man. We do this 24/7. I'm telling you, he'll tell you it's not a joke. It's not what you think. It ain't TV. It is not TV. And I want y'all to remember that. So we're going to take a break. And when we come right back, we got Malika. We'll start the interview with Malika. I wanted to let y'all feel her heart and, let y'all feel a little bit of where she's coming from. She's a good spirit. And like I said, we in for a great show today. This is I've Been Falsely Accused radio show, part 24. I'm your host, Cogee, my main man, Mr. Jeffrey Deskovic. And this is how we do it. We save lives. All right? We'll be right back.
She was there all the time.
Hey, we back, everybody. Welcome back to the I've Been Falsely Accused radio show. This is part 24 with me, your host, Cogee, and my main man, Mr. Jeffrey Deskovic. Jeffrey, during that, break we took right there, was anything on your mind that you felt like you want to come back in with? I could feel your spirit. Jeffrey? Oh, he might be.
Yes, just taking some solace, Cogee, and, and the work that we're doing. I mean, it's a great distraction, from a situation that we're all, dealing with, with the loss of our comrade.
Right. Yeah, definitely. And like I said in the last hour, you're going to definitely bring us up to speed on his funeral and the way everything went. And I'm definitely looking forward to that in the last hour. And anybody else who enjoyed the show, last week, Jeffrey's going to give us a recap on how everything went. So we definitely want y'all to stay locked in and stay tuned in to hear that. So we got a young lady in the studio right now, Miss Malika, who's definitely doing a lot of great things, and that's what won me over when me and her started talking. And I told her I was a radio host and what I do, and then she said, "Oh, well, this is what I do." You know what I'm saying? I'm like, "Oh, well, that matches right up." I mean, we match up with our hearts, because we giving of ourselves to other people, but we also are putting ourselves behind other people and putting them first to make sure that they are right. So again, Malika, I want to thank you for being on the show today.
Thank you again, Cogee.
All right. So what do? You can kind of like give us the structure of what all you do, where you do it at, and how can the public support what y'all trying to do to help, the people in prison and the homeless people you also are working with too. Yeah, go ahead. Definitely.
So first of all, I'm a member of Word of Life Christian Center, 3520 North Buffalo, and we serve a lot of different ministries, but I love to be at the ones where I'm serving. So I serve Feed the Homeless, I serve at the prison ministry, I serve as an ambassador on the door, and I also serve in Ladies Lifestyle. So that's my heart, that's what God has given me, so I enjoy what I do. So if you're interested in a way of giving back, we do the Feed the Homeless every second and third Saturday on D Street and Monroe. And we'll take any food or clothes donations that you're willing to out of the kindness of your heart to give.
What are some of the things that y'all tell people not to bring? Don't bring because y'all can't take them, you know.
We don't do that. There is a line literally from 9. We're there from 9 to 11 o'clock. And there's literally a line just nonstop at the stop sign. We bring clothes, we bring food, we bring toiletries, shoes, anything you can bring to help those in need. We will not turn anyone away.
Okay. Now, let's go to the prison ministries right now.
Mm-hmm.
How did you get into that, and how was your first experience going to do it? Let's go back to one, and then we'll come forward.
Again, I think you have to get out of your comfort zone with anything you do, because if you're comfortable, then you're never going to succeed.
That's right.
So I was like, okay, Lord, I need something else to do to get me out of my comfort zone. And it's always been a tugging on my heart. So I joined the prison ministry, and we minister at 4 different locations in Las Vegas. So my first initial time I went, it was back in January. Mm-hmm. And I was with another sister in Christ, and we ministered to the women. And I mean, they're hurting. They need to be encouraged. They need a prayer. And I really had to get my composure to be strong for them, because it really just touched my heart. Right. You got mothers in there. You got grandmothers. You got sisters. You got aunts. You got people with kids. You know, people who are looking like, how did I get here? You know, I came here with some friends to have a good time, and I got caught up, and they left me here.
Yeah.
So they need to be encouraged. They need prayer. They need to hear that God still loves them. And we're called to
somebody.
Yes.
If you don't believe in God, somebody still loves you.
Exactly.
Right.
But we're called to minister to those who are lost and that are in prison.
Right. So you understand why we do this show, I've Been Falsely Accused.
Yes.
And they left abandoned. So when you hear I've been falsely accused, what is the first thing that come to your mind and your thoughts?
That you were placed in a bad situation is not what you did, and you've been falsely accused. It's not what you did. Some might think you raped somebody or robbed somebody or broke into somebody's home. It is not what you did, just because you were at the wrong place at the wrong time.
Right. Now, let me say this real quick, and I had talked to you about this a little bit yesterday. When you witnessing to people and, you know, you ministering to them, and you definitely trying to just get them to hold on, trying to give them a couple of more weeks or a couple of more days just to hold on. And you done had different young men that came up to you and then said, I'm so hurt right now because I don't rape nobody. I don't domestic violence people. I didn't kill that person. That ain't what kind of person I am. And everybody's looking at me like that. How do you feel when you hear that as a mom?
It hurts. It hurts. It hurts. You know, you could be at the wrong place at the wrong time. But again, you just got to keep encouraging. You got to not judge. You got to just look at them and their heart and just believe that they were falsely accused.
And hopefully they telling you the honest truth.
There you go.
Right.
But you still got to be transparent. Don't judge. Look at their heart and just pray for them and continue to encourage them. But just tell them, you know, don't get caught up again when you get out.
Got that right.
Because they need faith, they need hope, and they need to hear there is hope and joy.
So when y'all go into the prisons, I know it's some people that's kind of rebellious. Sometimes, like, okay, when y'all go into the prisons, the people that y'all going to see, they the ones that done signed up to come and be a part of what y'all coming to do at the prison, right? Or do they just put everybody in one room, either if they want to come or not, and let them hear what y'all doing? How does it work?
They sign up to come.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, some of them might sign up to come. And Jeffrey, I want you to chime in after I ask Malika this. Some of them might sign up to come because that's just to get out of your cell or just to get away. But even though I'm coming and I'm in there, I'm not participating. And look, y'all can save the God stuff. Y'all can save all that. How do you break through with those kind of inmates? What does it take?
You got to have a tugging on your heart, and God got to show you. And then you got to go and just pray for them.
That's right.
And they'll be upset, believe it or not. But again, you got to be willing. You know what I mean? You can't go in there and be fake. You got to ask God to use you, because they'll go in there. Some might be hard. And they might sit in there with their heads down. They might not say nothing. They may be stone cold hard. But again, they got to keep those boundaries up. But just know you got to go in and try to reach their heart anyway.
Well, we're going to role play a minute. I'm one of those people that's in there, right? You come in to talk to me. You see me sitting over, and Malika, you feel like you're going to walk over and you're going to talk to me. You feel like you see something in me that's special that I don't see, because I've been in here and I'm lost, and I just don't see that in myself no more because I'm an inmate. I'm just like everybody else in there. But you see, no, you're a special person that can get out of here and you can bring change. Now, you walk over and you ask me, can you pray for me? No, you can't. I ain't with that guy's stuff. Ma'am, Malika, whoever you are, you know, thanks, but no thanks. Where do you go from here?
I just go say, well, let me just encourage you. Let me impart some love and some joy and some wisdom into you. Because no matter what you believe, God still loves you.
Okay.
And we're here just to be vessels to give God word to you.
Right.
So believe it or not, we love you. We're here for to encourage you. And believe it or not, your situation can change.
Right. So if he said, well, how can my situation change? I ain't got nobody to love me. Ain't nobody taking care of me. Nobody visits me. Ain't nobody giving, helping me with conversary. I'm in here living rough over a lie, because I'm bitter. I'm bitter that somebody destroyed my life. Mm-hmm. What do you do for that person? Because you got to keep going in.
You do.
You got to keep going in. So come on. I want you to.
I had a guy like that, and he was angry. He's very, very angry. But believe it or not, after he let me pray for him, he cried and he cried and cried, and the anger left.
Got it out of his system.
And, we can only give books and things like that, but we
Right.
can also go in and try to find some agencies that they can seek when they get out.
Okay, but I still want you to crack me, though. Now, remember, I just said what I said, but you didn't already put it out there. You see something in me. You know I can make it. You gotta keep going.
I
you
just
can't
gotta
walk
keep
away.
going in. I can't walk away.
What would you say to me next? After everything I said, ain't nobody loving me. Don't nobody care about me. I got lied on. I mean, all this that y'all saying. How does it work for me? Look where God put me right now. I'm in here and I didn't do it. Go ahead.
And what I would say is, unfortunately, God didn't put you here. You was in the wrong place at the wrong time, but I just want to continue to encourage you, and I would just continue to encourage him and pray for him. And believe it or not, eventually God will break it.
Right.
You just got to keep going in and going in, going in, just like your kids. You just got to keep going in and don't walk away until you get a breakthrough.
But would you tell that young man, you know what? Now I see where you're coming from, and I feel you. But I'm not that person that's going to give up on you. Now that we done made this introduction and you gave me a few minutes of your time to talk to you, we going to keep this going. Every time I come to the jail, we're going to sit down and we're going to do this.
Exactly.
So now what you thought you didn't have, now you've gained through me. Because your heart would make you feel that it ain't only that this person is hurt because they set up, but the person is abandoned. And that's what hurts the most.
It does.
Can you speak on that?
It does. They feel abandoned. They feel lost. But again, if it's not me coming every Monday or Friday or Saturday and Sunday, because we go out, those are the times we go out and minister, then it might be somebody else. And you just got to let them know, hey, look for this person, look for this brother or
So
sister
you would
in
assign
Christ.
a person to that person. You get what I'm saying?
Well, you're not really assigned, because you may go in and they might not be there, because remember, they move around in the system as well.
Right.
So
That's
you
right.
may not see them, but you got to remember, ask God to leave them on your heart. And when you go in, just continue to go in and encourage and say, I love you. I see where you're at. I know you feel abandoned, but you're not.
Okay.
We're
Right.
here for you, and you're coming in, and we're going to keep encouraging you. And a lot of times that's all that people need to hear, that they are loved
Right.
and that encouragement.
Right. Have anybody ever try to look you up and say thank you for helping me through my situation? Y'all, there's no way you get what I'm saying, they can look you up.
When they've gotten out?
Yeah, when they've gotten out. Like they've came to the church and said, you know what, hey, I want to thank this church for sticking by me, and I'm in.
We have had that. Again, Word of Life Christian Center, 3520 North Buffalo, Pastor David and Vicki Sharon. We have had people from the prison, and I've seen myself, and they're there. And when I say I get so much joy, because of nobody but God's grace, it is just refreshing. They say, we thank you for coming in. We thank you for continuing to love on us. And it is just the most awesome thing you can ever experience, that you have ministered to a life and they've came back.
So it's basically when they get back out, if y'all been witnessing to them and, the whole time, and each time y'all come, they've been, open to what y'all have to say and open to what they hear, and then they get out, it's almost like they come in to reboot their whole life when they come and join up with y'all at church. And okay, when they come up and join up with y'all, do y'all help them get clothes, or do y'all help them? I mean, in what way do you know of that y'all help people? You know what I'm saying? That y'all know really want to make a change.
Right. It just depends on the services that they ask for. Of course,
Okay.
they would come to the altar. They may ask for prayer, rededication, join the church. Once you go into the room, you fill out a sheet and ask what you need for. So we do have a food pantry at church.
That's cool.
Again, we do have Feed the Homeless. We do
Clothes,
have people that bring
shoes.
in clothes, shoes, everything.
Right.
I myself has brought it in.
Okay.
Because there's a need.
Right.
All over the United States,
I hear
and
you.
definitely here in Las Vegas.
That's right. You're right about that. Jeffrey, what you think about what she said?
I think it's a real thing. I mean, I really, enjoy churches and faith-based places that it can't all be spiritual. There has to be some, tangible, day-to-day,
Right.
assistance of people, man. And I mean, they mentioned about the food pantry and reaching out, doing outreach with the homeless. I mean, I feel that because and that's some really inspiring work.
That's right. You're definitely right about that. And Jeffrey, when we was role playing a minute ago, did I hit it on the nose being that angry person? Because you've been in, like I said, you've been in prison. You done seen the men that might feel like I felt, or you might have felt like it at one time. Did I hit it on the nose?
Yeah, you did. I mean, people go to religious services and various programs, and they're not really going because they're into it. They're just going in to get out of the cell. But believe it or not, I mean, a lot of times those people come around.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they're gonna act a little bit difficult. As a little bit. They're testing people to see that they're really under something. Subconsciously, they're testing people to see, are they really there to, help out? And if you stick around, a lot of times those will be the people, that roll around and ultimately get the most out of it, as opposed to the people that were initially there for the right reasons.
That's right. You're definitely right about that.
Most of them, I don't think the guys are really gonna, they're not gonna admit in the beginning that they're just there just to get out the cell. But I mean, sometimes you can tell that, but their actions will say that they're not really in it. But those are the people that we can't give up on.
Right. Right. You're definitely right about that. And that's why I wanted to come to you, with the last word on that situation, because I feel like a lot of those people, they feel, like I said, it goes back to being lonely, but not only being lonely, but being broken by the system. And, you don't have commissary. You hate to have to ask somebody for something, because when you do, you owe them something. You know what I'm saying? And you try your best not to ask for nothing in prison.
Yes, indeed. That's very true.
That's right, definitely. But like I said, it's been a great first hour. Malika, she's gonna be with us for the rest of the show. She's hanging out with us. Yeah, she's going to be with us for the rest of the show, and we already down to just minutes in the show. So the first hour's been great. What do you think about the first hour, Malika?
It's been awesome.
Right. And you see the movement of what we're trying to do, and we would love for you to be a part of what we're doing also.
Yes, thank you.
All right. So, Jeffrey, we get ready to break. Yeah. We get ready to break out. From his first hour, we going into our second hour. So, Jeffrey, give us words of encouragement to our listeners on what they heard in his first hour, what we hope they heard.
Really great program going on, inside the prison. And to Cogee, man, on the real, it's hell in there, man. And to be able to give somebody a temporary mental respite from that, which is really, what that program and other programs are in there. I mean, I've experienced it as a prisoner, man. Even though we're not leaving the prison, we're leaving the cell block, we're leaving, the visual reminders of the guards and, prison bars and all that, and we just around other people that's not, there, to make sure we stay in there, and just to change it up to look, and then to be able to chat with someone from the outside. I mean, that's priceless. And I know that, the prisoners always appreciate that.
That's right. You're definitely right about that. Well, I just want you to know, Jeffrey, I appreciate you for, linking up with me when I came to you and said, Jeffrey, I really want you to be a part of me and what I'm trying to do. And you've been dedicated since day one. And like I said, as far as the organization, you bought the T-shirts for the young people, man. And I thank you for that. And I just thank you for getting out with not a bitter heart, man. You definitely are a giver. You know what I'm saying? And you really believe in, what we're doing right now. But I believe in what you're doing because you've been doing this way longer than me in this fight. And I jumped in it, and I'm saying I got your back as well. And I do appreciate you.
Same here, Cogee.
All right. So, everybody, what we're going to do, we're going to take a break. We're going to get ready for our second hour, and we're definitely coming back in. Miss Elsa Prado from Chicago, she'll be calling in, and she's going to talk about the falsely accused in the juvenile court system down there where she works. She's going to talk about what she see the children go through, what the parents go through, and how it just tears and damages the lives and tear them to pieces. Nobody needs to go through this, but when somebody go through it, we definitely need somebody to believe in us. We need somebody to say, hey, you know what? If you say you didn't do it, I'm really going to believe you and I'm going to trust you because the lie will come out. So stay locked in and stay tuned in, and we'll be right back. You're listening to the I've Been Falsely Accused radio show. We'll be right back.